game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy and electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Tampa Tones here on the Buccaneers, alongside my great co-host A-Cats, alongside my other great co-host Huncho, and it's a victory show for the Bucs, but we did get some negative Nancy news in terms of Tampa Bay sports a little bit ago. We're going to let Cats open up with that and get his thoughts, as he had some good words to share with us pre-show on the status of Tampa sports and the Rays in general. Cats, first off, how are you, brothers? Secondly, sorry for the Rays loss. I put a little bit of coin on them today. I was expecting big things from them.
Yeah.
And sadly, it seems like their defense and their bats kind of went a little quiet today.
Yeah, it was a rough one. That you don't see, although in the last series, even in Toronto, since things kind of got beat up in the infield in terms of losing some guys, they were making some errors late in the season. Unfortunately, that carried over today. They had some chances early on to score. Siri came back from his hand injury, had a broken hand, and that might have been a bad decision because he did not have a good day at the plate. He tried to bunt. He never tries to bunt, even though the first and third bunt play is a great play. As you know, you follow baseball. You can't usually stop it if you get the bunt down, but it's a little weird for the Rays to do that, to play for one run, or a team that doesn't usually do that. So it made me wonder about his hand injury, and then he had an issue with a fly ball later. So a tough loss for the Rays for sure. But again, it's a best of three, not a best of one like it used to be. So they'll have a chance to come back tomorrow with Zach Eflin on the mound, hopefully play a cleaner game, and hopefully put some runs on the board, of course, and come out with a win and force a winner to take all game free. I'm optimistic that they'll do that. They've been good this year with their backs against the walls.
Yeah, we still got time left to right the ship. I'm not writing the Rays off yet by any means. I think that they're going to have a strong bounce back performance tomorrow, and really all you got to do is win tomorrow, and then you never know what the heck might happen in a win or go home game 3. I still think the Rays out-roster the Rangers. Their pitching is better than the Rangers. Only thing that the Rangers probably have up on the Rays right now is the offensive bats a little bit anytime you have Seager and Simeon, but no fault of the Rays. They had some bad luck. The Wander thing happened. As you mentioned, Jose Siri got hurt. Luke Raley's been hurt. The top 3 pitchers.
And Brandon Lau, who...
Yeah, Brandon Lau now.
Don't forget Brandon Lau, he broke his kneecap fouling a ball off his knee. What are the odds of that? I mean, and our fans, he's not popular amongst Tampa Bay sports fans because of his past playoff struggles, but it's remarkable, Tones, how often players get that label. Well, a great player can't perform in the playoffs. And how many times do those players eventually get the opportunity to flip that narrative? And they do flip that narrative. Steven Stamkos got that narrative against him at one point. I'd say he turned it around. It's just unfortunate that Brandon doesn't get that opportunity right now to do that. But eventually, perseverance will pay off for him, and he'll get his opportunity, and he'll write that and shut up a lot of these idiots on local sports radio. Oops, should I have not said that? Oh, well, I said it. So anyway, I said it already. I said it.
Well, I know this. When you give the Rays opportunities, and there are opportunities left, they'll take advantage of them. So I'm holding out hope. Again, it's just my thing is, Cats, before we do move on to our Bucs talk, is Hunch is itching to get to it. I'm just a little more concerned with that's 3 straight lackluster offensive postseason games in a row now from the Rays.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I mean, last year was to be expected because they were not good all year offensively last year, but that was how the whole season went. This year is a much different story. So it is disappointing, but I mean, hopefully it can flip around tomorrow because I thought Glasnow pitched a good game. I know his line doesn't look pretty. He had to get extra outs, and that's hard for any pitcher, no matter how good you are. So they don't have to put up a huge crooked number, but yeah, they were not able to. And I was hoping, I don't like to ever root for getting a certain opponent, but when I saw they wouldn't face the Jays, they wouldn't face Kevin Gossman, who's a fantastic pitcher, I said, all right, you know what? That's a good thing. I think he's given up at least a few runs already today, so I guess so much for that. But that's why I said to someone earlier this week, I said, you know what, let me just keep my mouth shut and not disparage any opponent. But yeah, I think he's given up at least 3 now, so. He might not have given up 3 to us, though. So you never know. You only know one outcome.
Yeah, and I think
Am I right, by the way?
Yeah.
Royce Lewis, yeah, good kid. Yeah.
Royce Lewis, I think.
Is that right? Is he giving up 3?
Yeah, I
3
think he's
nothing.
given up. It's 3-0, and I think Royce Lewis hit a 2-run homer to help that cause get to 3-0. Huncho, we see you in your victory shades. We'll step aside from the base path for a minute and ask you how you're feeling after Sunday's victory against the Saints. That was a big one, and Cats and I have poured our emotions of the Rays out now, so we'll let you handle the Bucs welcoming victory, brother. Happy Victory Tuesday now, but when you have a bye week, you can celebrate it into Tuesday a little bit. Hunch, I'm not sure if you're connecting with us there or whatnot. I can't hear you right now. I think you're muted, brother. Well, we'll see if we could get Hunch figured out. He's muted right now, so we'll see if we could get him back. Cats, will ask you, how you doing? I know with the Rays it was a sad thing, but Cats, how do you feel about that big Bucs win?
Can you hear me?
That was absolutely fantastic. I'll let Hunch take over. The future's bright, so Hunch is wearing shades. And now we can hear him, so he can show his shades off and talk too. So, yeah. Go ahead, Hunch.
I heard somebody say,
or
"Who that?"
Not? I'm not sure.
Who that?
Hunch, you're a little something's going on with your internet a little bit, Hunch. I think you're a little delayed there. We'll try and get Hunch back here, but Cats, feel free, take it away, brother. Thoughts on week 1? We'll get Hunch back when we could.
Yeah.
Or not week 1.
That was an
last
outstanding
week's win, not week 1.
Right. Well, we finished the first quarter here of the season. Hard to believe, right? Already 4 games in. As an outstanding performance by the Bucs. I thought, I didn't talk after the Philly game, but I thought, and I think I said this in the group chat, that I felt the way they finished that game. I know the Eagles greened out the rest of the clock after the Bucs, but I said for a young team, it's important, no matter what, if you lose, obviously. You want to finish the game at least somewhat correctly. And they hung in there in that game, and they were totally overmatched from a talent standpoint. I said, all right, you'll never admit it, but let's take something from that game. You hung in there again. I said, all right, the Saints are a more appropriate opponent right now, anyway, for this Bucs team. They're a good team, the Saints, but I don't think they're a great team. They're not on the level of the Eagles. They're not on the level of the 49ers. I don't even think they're on the level of the Lions, But they're a good team. We know that they're the favorites. And it was an outstanding performance by the Bucs all around. Offense, defense, even the special teams. We got a big kick from McLaughlin. I thought that Todd Bowles called a great game. I thought Dave Canales self-scouted well. Do they still use that term?
Mm-hmm.
Self-scout, use analytics, whatever. I thought he called a fantastic game. I thought he mixed it up well. He was well prepared for Dennis Allen, which is something that I feel like the Bucs have never really been over the years. Feels like he's been such a thorn in our side. And yeah, I mean, he mixed up his plays. I mean, if you look at how they came out in that game right away, I think the first play was that a play action on the first play of the game from scrimmage by us? I think it was to Mike. I think it was. Could be wrong. But yeah, I thought Dave called a great game. He mixed it up, and the Saints never really. Yeah, the Saints, even when the Bucs didn't score, it felt like they were able to move the football. And there were some plays that might have even been missed, but ultimately, yeah, I thought they really imposed themselves on the Saints. When you hold a team to under 200 yards of offense, they were able to eventually even run the ball somewhat efficiently. It was a great all-around performance. Just a great team win. Really is. I know it sounds like a cliche, but that's what that was. That was a great team win all around.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things to bring up now. Is Mike Evans? It says it was a mild hamstring injury, so we do hope to have Mike back shortly after the bye, if not immediately after the bye. That would be a blessing because, Cats, as you know, Mike and his hamstring injury, something that's been, not an overcommon theme, but it's been brought up in the past and we've seen it before. So hopefully Evans is ready to roll. Before we slide to Huncho, thoughts on the Evans situation and potentially him escaping a big hamstring scare?
Well, I think it's ironic because normally I don't like an early bye week. Usually, I normally hate that. But for this particular scenario with Mike's situation, like you mentioned, and still some other guys dinged up, I think it came at the right time for him. Yeah, he has had some issues with his hamstrings. I don't doubt that he does the best he can to stay as hydrated as possible in this Florida heat. But sometimes and that I think often they say leads to hamstring injuries. I think if you're not hydrated well enough, I don't know exactly the science behind that. I guarantee you he does all he can to stay hydrated. It's just something that happens when a guy is a long strider with long legs like that. But yeah, like I said, the bye week comes at the right time. You're going to need him against the Lions, who I think are again a step above the Saints, maybe a little below the Eagles, but they're a step above the Saints. But great job also by the Bucs in that second half, coming out and putting points on the board without Mike, being able to move the football effectively. Just a great job around by Devin Tompkins, particularly. They got Godwin involved continuously. It's a lot easier to defend an offense when you're missing Mike, but the Bucs still were able to move the football. And that, again, a lot of that goes to play calling. A lot of credit to Rachaad White, I thought, had maybe his best game of the season in this particular one. And that was encouraging because, he had a couple catches out of the backfield. He made some men miss. And eventually, I thought that was very encouraging to take away because it's been a struggle. But like I mentioned, Canales didn't say, all right, we need to run the ball, so I'm just going to hand the ball off and hand it off and hope we can, eventually get something to work. He mixed his plays up well. He understands how to sequence plays. They have a plan. They stick to it. The Philly game was tough. For him, he'll say that. But again, it's hard when you're just overmatched from a talent standpoint. There's only so much you could do. But again, I thought in this game he made a lot of adjustments. And
I
eventually
agree.
you saw it really show through on the scoreboard.
I agree. And Cats, another cool thing about this game is JC Allen from Game Day SI is saying, sup, fellas. Christopher checking in, Steppin' Peppin, Olivia all checking in. I thought a cool thing about this game was the first drive of the game, 9 plays, the Bucs had 8 different people touch the ball on the Bucs' first touchdown drive. That is 17 plays, 87 yards, 8 different people touch the ball, including Vaughn, Godwin, Tompkins, Evans, Jarrett, Baker Mayfield, Rachaad White, and K-Dot. And pretty incredible to see the ball movement right there. And that's something we didn't get a lot last year. It felt like a lot of 2 yards and a bag of chips at the end of the day. I don't know if you felt the same, Cats, or Huncho. I don't know if we have you back, but if you are here, any thoughts on that, Huncho, the ball movement? 8 guys, 1 drive. You got to love it. I think we just lost Hunch I'm just going to take him out for now until I hear otherwise from him. Not really sure what's going on with him. But Cats, 8 guys, 1 drive. It's incredible, really incredible, and something we're not accustomed to. We weren't accustomed to at Leftwich, but as you said, Canales mixes it up. The play calling's been nice, and it's not like those were vanilla touches either, right? We've seen wide receiver reverses. We've seen wide receiver carries, and then obviously not on that drive, but we've seen Godwin try and throw a pass even. So pretty refreshing stuff to me in terms of play calling.
Yeah, it's hard to put together a 17-play touchdown drive. Maybe teams when you late in the game you can do that usually, but Baker made plays with his feet to extend plays when he needed to. He had a pretty clean pocket, I thought, most of this game. Did you hear Cam Jordan's name mentioned other than when he cheap shotted him after a touchdown pass? I didn't hear Cam Jordan's name other than during the week when he was talking. I didn't hear the stat compiler's name.
I didn't hear him at all.
But
I didn't hear him at all.
No, he took a ride on Malkadecki. I hope you enjoyed the ride. Enjoy your tickets. You got to be a certain height to ride, tall enough to ride the ride. So lucky for him for that. just a big fucking mouth. Excuse me. Certain players just piss you off, and there's certain players you just love to beat, and he's just one of, in all sports, of course, and he's one of those guys. He's on my list of guys he just love to shut up because he never does shut up. I'm sure he's a good guy in reality, but when it comes to this, and I'm going to go off script for a second here, and I don't know how many people are listening. You know, something that I hear come up a lot of times when the Bucs play the Saints, and a lot of it comes from his mouth as well. This is not the rivalry. The rivalry is Atlanta. As someone who's a bit older, as I am, the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints have been in the same division since 1967. So the Bucs were in another division for longer currently than they have been in this one since 2001. So you're not going to develop the same rivalry as two teams that were in the same division for, if my math is right, that's 56 years, I think. That's it. You know, it's such a stupid talking point. I don't give a frog's fat ass who thinks we're their rival or not. As long as we're winning, man, that's fine. If they don't think we're their rival, fine. I don't care. I grew up hating Green Bay and Chicago more than anybody. No offense to the city. I love the city of Chicago. I don't like the team. The Bears.
Oh, I hear you on
particularly.
that. I hear you on that.
Yeah, their fans are obnoxious. They always took over the stadium, you know. So I grew up hating those two teams. You know, I've kind of mellowed out a little towards them. But yeah, all that talk is so silly to me. But hey, they don't consider us. We, their non-rival, punched them in the mouth on Sunday on both sides of the ball. That's the bottom line. That's why we walked out. That's why all they could manage was 9 stinking points. So congratulations to Cam Jordan. Maybe you'll do better against your real rival whenever you face them.
And Hunch, me and Katz were kind of just talking about Cam Jordan being on a milk carton. Yeah, we could hear you. Cam Jordan being on a milk carton, and really just his non-existence, non-involvement for as big of a game he talks. He didn't perform out there outside of what Katz said. You heard his name once when he tried to cheap shot Baker and really take out Baker, and same went for Lattimore. You really didn't hear his name in good faith too much. Only time you heard it was when he got that PI diving at Evans' ankles. So between those two trash talkers, Huncho, it really wasn't a successful day for those New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I was just trying to see. I'm still here, or can you guys hear me?
Yep, we could hear you. You're still there, brother.
Okay, man. My internet, man, is fucking kicking my ass today. But I want to just start off by saying fuck the Saints. We that, if y'all didn't know that. And I don't care what they say about the rivalries. We all know what it is. We don't have to have a rivalry against y'all. We own y'all now. You know what I'm saying? We beat y'all ass now. I mean, I don't know why y'all still thought we wouldn't be good without Brady. I mean, we got a better quarterback. Y'all have an old quarterback that's threw us an interception that everybody knew that he was going to throw the interception. I'm just so whatever, call it a rival. Y'all probably have better luck against the Falcons, like Kat said. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously we're too good for y'all. Because 9 points is crazy when you're going up in the division. That is crazy, man. And I'm just excited. I love everything about it. The offense, you could tell when Dave Canales got in his groove how he went to doing a lot of motions and just getting the guys' eyes to wonder and look. That was awesome. That was phenomenal. Kept seeing Thomas run back, Tompkins run back and forth. That was great. And also when you have Mike going on, I seen him slide over. Also, Cam Jordan, Luke Gadecki just handled him majority of the game. Like it was just crazy the way he was handling him. Alvin Kamara, he was held to, I believe, 37 receiving yards, and that was like unheard of. And far as what's the guy name? The wide receiver, Olave, he had
Thomas,
like 8,
the slap dude,
between 4 to 8 yards. Olave for the Saints.
They both didn't do
Olave. I was saying slam man, Michael Thomas. Olave. Okay.
Between Thomas and Olave, both.
Not Olave. At least Olave keeps his mouth shut. Yeah.
Exactly.
Olave doesn't shut. Olave seems to be a decent guy.
Yeah, he does. Not like Michael Thomas is the Godfather checking in. Hello, men. Godfather is in the house. I think in the house we got Stunna as well. Stunna, can you hear us? How the hell you doing, brother? And long time no talk.
Everything's great, man. Every day is awesome, and it's hard to find time in the day, brother. But just excited. It's a fuck the Saints Tuesday, and we're just excited that we beat them scumbags.
Are you gonna be at the Bucs Lions game coming out of the bye week? Do you know yet, or is that still up in the air?
It's a 1 o'clock start, so most likely. But you know how the up north fans travel.
It
And
did
back in the
shift
day
to a
when we,
it did shift to a 3:25 now. It
oh
just got
really?
announced.
Okay.
Correct.
With the Detroit travels, man. They have a big fan base, and everybody looks at Florida like it's a vacation. So whenever the up north teams play down here, they're always going to pack our stadium and travel well.
Yeah, that's for sure. If you look at ticket pricing alone, you would realize that Philadelphia, Detroit, and the likes of those
And the
tickets are
Lions are
more
good this year. So.
exactly, and that's our creamsicle showdown. So those tickets are more expensive. Huncho, myself, and my buddy just secured tickets to Bucks Falcons, so we'll be in the house there. Now we're gonna just go around a little bit and say, what we're excited about being 3-1, and what makes us nervous still, although we are 3-1. I'll start here. I'm excited about our ceiling. We haven't been playing great football to me, and we're 3-1. And I think we've been playing good football, don't get me wrong, but we could be playing better. By that I mean our run game could improve, our health could improve, and a couple other things could improve, right? We've had a couple drops throughout. So for as playing as quote unquote unfundamental as we had, and we are 3-1, and trust me, there have been great signs. We could even be that much better. So I think it's good that we're 3-1 without playing our best brand of football, right? If we were clicking on all cylinders right now, if we were 3-1 right now, but we weren't playing our best brand of football, it'd be what we are now. So that's my one takeaway is that, and Eric Moreno is saying, hey, could I come on? You're welcome on anytime, brother. Feel free to hop on, hit us up, and we'll get you on here, Mr. Eric Moreno, member of the Bucks community.
Please.
Mr. Pless, Dr. Pless. Hello, my friends. Hello, Dr. Pless of Real Bucks Talk. An honor to have you drop by the chat as well. But I guess one thing that I'm not worried about, one thing that's impressed me is that we haven't played our best brand of football, and we are 3-1. One thing that's concerning to me is the lack of depth in the running game. If something happens with Rashad White, we're severely handcuffed, right? And even Rashad White, a couple of games this year didn't look too sharp, but God forbid he goes down, and next thing you know, we're really fumbling the bag. We're really bumbling along the way, because then we'd have Keyshawn Vaughn and the likes of Sean Tucker and an injured Chase Edmonds at the moment as well, so he's not available. We do have Pat Laird on the practice squad, but long story short, our running game isn't stable enough right now to sustain a big injury. So one thing I'm happy with is us being 3-1, not playing our best brand of ball, and one thing that concerns me a little bit is our run game. Huncho, will go over to you, and Mr. Eric, join the next one, brother. We have limited time in this one, and there's already a pack house, or else I'd have you jump on, brother. But hit me up anytime. Yep, he's saying he's going back into work anyways. Yeah, so the pod only has about 15 to 20 minutes left anyways. But Hunch, one thing that impresses you so far this year, and one thing that scares you a little bit through our 3-1 start.
One thing that I'm impressed with is that we're winning while we're learning. Like you said, we haven't reached our ceiling yet, so I'm just excited for that, and I'm excited to have a young play caller like Dave Canales that can actually see where he's going wrong, and he actually has logic behind what he does, or he doesn't mind sharing it. Unlike other coordinators that were here in the past. You get what I'm saying? So I mean, I just like his theory, and he always gives you an open mind of what he's trying to think without giving you everything, And I just like that. It keeps me in hope that this offense can just get better as we go. Right now, we're just seeing the it's more like a practice right now, and it's more like repetition when it comes to Rashard White finding out what holes to hit and what to do when these certain type of looks when you have it. So once you see it again, you know what to look for and those type of things. You're getting better continuity with Baker Mayfield and Chris Godwin and what they like and what the tendencies to help them excel. And I'm just looking forward to that. What I'm not too happy about, but I can't even say that because I'm happy this week because we have a bye week, and just like Kat alluded to about the offense, you know, we get some key players back, you know, even though it's an early bye week, that fell into our favor because we can get some key guys get back. You know, if we have at least 2 weeks, I kind of look at it like 2 weeks to heal up and rest when you got Mike Evans with what it was just a strain, so it's not too bad. And if you all know, Mike Evans and those hamstrings are like wet toilet paper, man.
As we talked, me and Katz were talking about that
Yeah.
earlier, Evans and his hamstring and how reoccurring it is. Plus brings up a good point, Hunch. The factor to watch is if the defense can rush with 4 consistently once Cansey gets back.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
I think that's a big key to watch for sure.
For real. We gotta generate a 4-man pass rush because keep blitzing on every down. We like the top we're the number 3 I think rushing and blitzing team in the league or something like that. So I mean, if we don't have that many sacks, I think we're 9th in sacks or something like that. So we just got to get better all around the board when it comes just to 4-man rushes instead of just blitzing crazy. And we're high in pressures. We get a lot of pressures, but imagine if those pressures were sacks. You get what I'm saying? So we'll just be moving up a little better. So I mean, I just look forward to this defense growing and getting better. We get Jamel Dean back, get those guys healthy that can contribute. The young guys, Zion McCullough, you know, my guy. These guys, D. Delaney even's looking phenomenal now. I don't know what he's just looking good this year. A lot of guys that I'm ready to get like more excited about, and yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and I think you brought up some great points. As Plus brings up another good one offensively, just needs to learn run game flow and when to run the ball. I agree with you there.
Exactly.
You know, I think we could figure out a better way to get Rashad White a couple more touches. Not that he's been the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I want to see him in space, Tones.
Yeah, exactly. And compared to Vaughn and Tucker, I mean, they've been 2 yards in a cloud of dust, right? I think Tucker could still have time to grow as a runner. And I will say Keyshawn Vaughn's first couple of runs were refreshing because at least he put his head down and tried to stay in between the hashes and get some tough yards. But yeah, I think as soon as we learn the run game flow a little bit and when to run the ball, I think they will cause improvements here. And the run game's so essential. And it hasn't been one of our better friends yet besides Rashad White against the Bears and a couple of plays last week against the Saints as well. We'll go to Stunna next before we end with Cats. Stunna, one thing that you've been happy with to this point at 3-1, and one thing you think the Bucs could get better at, or something that's frustrated you so far to this point of the year?
I've been happy about our team defense and our scoring defense, and then and I've also been happy with Mike Evans' performance. And I'm a little worried because against Philly, our defense had a letdown when they saw the offense couldn't score, and they kind of gave up at the end. And that was reminiscent of last season. So I want our team to continue to play hard. Honor your part of the field. No matter how the offense looks, the defense got to play buck ball. And I've been happy to see that so far. And I'm also happy to see that Todd Bowles is winning because, I've been a Todd Bowles supporter, and I want to see him do well in Tampa.
Yeah, Stunna, you were actually an advocate of Coach Todd Bowles coming here the year we got Bruce Arians, I believe it was. And, again, Arians didn't always seem like
That's correct.
He didn't seem like a possibility for a while because he was retired. And then Stunna, Bowles has been impressive so far to me. I have no complaints with Bowles, and I think you foreshadowed something pretty good with Todd Bowles there, Stunna. As Stunna may have.
I'm here. Thank you, sir. I definitely appreciate that, and we're all Bucs fans. We're all excited about the season we're having, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next time you're in town. I'm gonna give you some memorabilia you could give out on the show, to call-ins or something.
That's incredible. We do love you, Coach Stano, and we're glad we have you here on this one. And we know you're a busy guy in the fall, so always a good time with Stunna joining the show. Kat, one thing you're happy about, one thing you think we could improve upon, although we are 3-1, brother, in the top of the South.
The fact that you're 3-1, and yeah, you certainly haven't. You can't say you played your best football. Only team I look at and think, wow, they've been just incredible. I think the 49ers looked absolutely as good as you could look, but I don't know if anyone else will say, yeah, we played our best football. Yeah, I think, like we were talking about, I think Canales is learning as a play caller. He's kind of learning on the fly. He's never done this before. The Philly game, I think, was a learning experience for him. And you saw, again, how he bounced back with this last game. Something that I've been very pleased about. I really like the play of two guys on defense that we might not have expected from. Greg Gaines, I think, has looked very good to me. I think that's been a great signing so far. And I think Zion McCollum has taken a big step forward this year. I really do. Last season was rough. Looked rough, but he looked like a rookie last year. This year, Dean gets hurt. He's come in. Dean, I know, had his struggles while he was healthy. McCollum's impressed me, and having Carlton Davis back for this previous game was huge. I'm not saying we would have lost it without him, but we don't know. Not having him against Philly certainly did not help. Because that's your lockdown corner, man. I mean, we're not a team that, like, for example, I guess Buffalo, I know Tre'Davious White, I think, is done for the year, which is a terrible blow for them. But I know they've got a ton of depth, and they can probably start filtering guys in and rotating them in, and they'll probably be fine. For us, that's not a knock on anyone. We just, that's just how it is with our roster. I mean, D. Delaney's done a nice job. Hope to get Jamel Dean back. But, yeah, having Carlton Davis back in the lineup made a huge difference. Because, again, I didn't hear Slant Boy's name much at all. He had a couple catches. No big deal. Really, nothing that really, change the game. But, yeah, those two guys, McCollum and Greg Gaines, have both caught my eye defensively.
Yeah. He only got that catch. You remember when the play broke down and I believe Derek Carr was scrambling and that was one of his big catches right there when he caught the ball when it was like a scramble drill. But other than that, he was pretty locked up.
Yeah, he came back to the ball on an extended play, but there wasn't much. He wasn't heard from very much in that game other than complaining about his own quarterback, just like their fans were complaining about that game, which was enjoyable to see. You love hearing the boos there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
KB makes a funny one. Wait, but I thought the Bucs couldn't beat the Saints. The defense is just too good for a non-Byron-led offense, I hear. And really, to me, the Saints' biggest hindrance, and I mean, it's been a couple things, right? The Saints have kicked the crap out of the cap down the road forever now, and yeah, they can get away with it, but when you start signing over-the-hill guys to these big contracts like they did with Derek Carr, like they did with Honey Badger, like they did with Cam Jordan, it will hinder the crap out of you in the long run. And now that's what you're seeing with the Saints. You're seeing their depth is lacking. Their coaching staff is lacking. Dennis Allen is a terrible head coach. I'll be the first to say that. He's a hell of a defensive guru, and he's a great defensive coordinator. But Dennis Allen is a terrible head coach. He proved that in Oakland. When he was there, he did terrible in Oakland, really did a number on the Raiders. And now with the Saints, you see him time and time again continuing to make the wrong decisions. He makes the wrong calls, and he goes about things the wrong way. Now, I will say this, as Plus says, it was nice seeing wide receivers separate and get open against a man defense, and the Saints scheming players open. What a concept, right? Like Byron last year didn't scheme. He just thought that Evans and Godwin should go out there and win their battles. And although you expect that with guys like Godwin and Evans, if you don't scheme plays for them, if you don't get them open, they're not going to get open all the time. And I think we only really seen that last year, second to last game of the season when Mike finally broke out. Yeah, Byron called a decent game then, but other than that, it was heavily hindering us all season. And real quick before we move on, I'll say this. Our wide receiver and cornerback, I think, Katz, you made a great point with Carlton Davis. Since he did return, I think he's incredible. And our wide receivers do remind me of our corners and the fact of the matter of this. We have Godwin and Evans. we have Dean and Davis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Behind those two, it does get a little thin, but we're creating ball players on both sides of the football. I think Katz hit the nail on the head with Zion McCollum being improved a lot this year, and that's because of opportunities that he has gotten over the past couple of years. If you remember, Jamel Dean wasn't built in a lab overnight, right? He had a terrible first start against Seattle where he got blown to smithereens and people written him off. Last year, Zion got off to a slow start. Devin Tompkins didn't do anything last season. You look at Trey Palmer, and a lot of people said, sixth-round wide receiver, he can't be the guy. And a lot of people said Raheem Jarrett can't have his hand in the pot either, being an undrafted free agent. We're building up depth, both wide receivers and DBs. We have the big two. We have Dean and Davis, and then we got Evans and Godwin. But the things that the Bucs are doing to build depth behind them is really a beautiful thing. And that's what has been awesome to see. Is Kenny Barrett says the Saints' biggest downfall was signing Carr, not because he's terrible, but after compounding, blah, blah, blah. We are doing the rebuild. Yes, we are, KB. We're doing the rebuild the right way. We're not buying dumb free agents. We're signing nice pieces like Ryan Neal, although he hasn't played great. It's not going to kill you if he doesn't play great because we gave him only 1 year and $1 million. So, when a guy like
I want to add this too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me add. Sorry to cut you off. I totally forgot to mention how good Izzian has been as well. Christian Izzian. I forget, was he undrafted? I think he was undrafted, correct? I believe he went to school. He knows Todd Bowles' son. They were scouting Miss Bowles' son, and they picked up on Christian Izzian. And fun fact, I'm just going to segue for a minute. The Bucs were scouting Johnny Football, and that's where they realized that Mike Evans was the real reason. So they picked that he was so good, so they picked Mike Evans. Jason Light has always, to me, when it's come to his drafts, it's no secret, and I'm going to knock him for a minute here, and then I'm going to praise him. When it's come to drafting running backs, he's been, it's not been good. But when it's come to drafting receivers or signing undrafted receivers, and it's come to defensive backs, Jason Light has a very good track record with both of those. He has come up with a ton of great moves at those particular positions. And that's just how it is. That's not all on the GM, by the way. I mean, a lot of that goes into the scouting department and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Some teams draft certain and find, gems at certain positions, and others they just cannot, it doesn't happen. And that is nice of Greg Schiano to do it. I like Greg. I like Greg a little more than most people.
I like Greg a lot. I'll be the first to say, Katz, I'm with you. I like Schiano. I'm a Schiano guy.
I mean, I kind of laugh at a lot. Some of the things he did were a little ridiculous. Some of them make you laugh. Like him yelling. This is a known fact that he yelled at the chef at One Buck Place saying that the meatballs were not big enough. That's a true story. It's not an urban legend. But in hindsight now, looking back, it's kind of hilarious, really. I mean, there's no real harm in that, So what? Big deal. Whatever. Funny story, my opinion now. And he's a smart I thought he was a good evaluator of talent, more or less. Not perfect, but yeah, that is interesting. I forgot about his connection there with Christian Izzian. So thank you, Greg. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well as well.
Yeah, Huncho.
Finally, quality tackle. Good point, Ken. That's interesting. I don't know if he's done that or not.
Ken says, I just need Light to take a shot on a backup quality tackle to develop. Yeah, not a bad point. We really haven't seen, the backups, but or the tackles, but Gadecki is gonna blossom into quite the tackle, and at least we got worse. But I'll say this. We've had a friend of the show, Anthony Gator, on several times, and Anthony Gator is very familiar with Greg Schiano, as obviously that's who drafted Anthony Gator here in Tampa. And Gator says to this day, Greg Schiano has probably been his favorite coach to play for and his most respectful coach figure to play for. Schiano still reaches out to Gator to date. He actually texted Gator advice, being the Florida International's edge rushing coach. I mean, as Kenny alluded to, over Dirk Cutter, Schiano is better than Cutter. Schiano is better than Lovie Smith. It could have got a lot worse than Greg Schiano. As Plus says, hopefully we can trade Logan Hall for a ham sandwich soon. Speaking of ham
Logan Hall,
sandwich,
actually, he's actually improved. I think he had one of his better games last game. I think he actually did a little better. Like, I'm not gonna say he was great, but he did a little better. And I think he's like in the same lines as I am, McCollin. Like, I think he needs more reps to get better and go against, go against talent like that, so he can get more repetitions. One thing about Todd Bowles, and I can say about his defense, the most of the time who we draft or who we add to the team, they all improve. Whether it's you got your Jordan Whitehead, you got your Mike Edwards, you have certain guys, Dean to a second contract, Carlton Davis to a second contract. Now you got Winfield coming in. Now you got Izzy. And now I just say Todd Bowles and his defense, he know how, because we went through a stretch where we couldn't develop guys on defense. You remember we couldn't develop guys. We had the Savvy Piscatellis. We had
the Corey Lynches.
A lot of bad guys that weren't just getting it done.
EJ Biggers, Myron Lewis, Albert Mack.
I'm getting a headache.
Barrett Root, although I kind of liked Barrett Root. He actually wasn't terrible.
He was until he started getting drug all through the field. Like, yeah, he was good.
Yeah. He wasn't. I blame Justin Pulowski for any struggles Barrett Root had. That's, did I just say that? Yes, I did say it. That fucking prick. Excuse me. Not Barrett Root, the Pulowski, the prick, just wouldn't shut up about Barrett Root and how awful he was. I think Root was eventually a little spooked by it. I would be too, given that. Well, never mind. We won't go there.
I know where you're going, Cass. I know where you're going.
But yeah, you're right. I just say whatever, But yeah, no, your overarching point is correct. Plus, let me ask you, if you don't mind, with Logan Hall, because I know it's been a rough first year plus here. Is that how much latitude though do you give him? Because how many games has Logan Hall actually played now? Does anybody? What is the numbers? Are we even up to 16 now? I feel like he hasn't even played that many.
Probably like 4. I mean 3. It's like the third game.
Logan Hall, he played
last year.
He played last year, but I don't think he's seen over 50% of snaps in any game last year. I think he was bottoming out around the 20 to 35% mark in games last year.
When Hicks got hurt. I think he came in when Hicks was hurt for that little stretch.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I feel like, and I know it's been underwhelming so far, Logan Hall. I understand that. I just feel like, maybe give him some more, see how more latitude and revisit at the end of the. I want
to see what Kansas
season.
Maybe what Kansas.
Me too. I want to
a little different,
and it would be nice to have him back against a Lions team that is. A Lions team that is a lot more difficult, I believe, an offense that is ran a lot more fluidly than what we saw from New Orleans, I think. They have a very good, I don't know who their offensive coordinator is. I don't know if Campbell calls the plays up there or not, but they're well-run offense. And it's hard. Yeah, and it's hard against an offense like that. I think their offensive line is very tough to try and consistently, be blitzing and winning, because their receivers will beat you if you do that. So you'd love to have Cansey back and be able to get some more pressure with your front four, kind of knock off the spot, because they look really good. And the little bit I've seen of the Lions, that they look as good now as they did at the end of last year, maybe better. So, but obviously that's something for 2 weeks from now. But it's a matchup I'm looking forward to. I am. I'm probably going to be at that game. And I'm looking forward to it. Lions fans are annoying, but they're not as bad as Philly fans or Chicago or.
You'll be in your creamsicle gear, I imagine. Then you'll be seeing the creamsicle.
I will be wearing. Yes, my Eric Rhett jersey from when I was 12 still fits me. It's a little snug, but it still fits me. So Eric Rhett, former Gator running back and former Buck running back. So yeah, I'll put that on, and I'll put my shark tooth. Buck cap on that I had, the one Sam Weiss, may he rest in peace, used to wear back in the day, and we'll see how I look, and we'll see how the Bucs do.
I do agree.
Number 32, Eric Rhett.
Eric Rhett, legendary Buck, number 32. One of the best in the business back in the day for the Bucs. He was a fan favorite then, still is to date. So that's a great jersey you have.
Give
there,
us some good luck, Cats.
And I do think I think Plus brings up a good point. He hopes that Hall develops, but he's just disappointed where they picked him. It did feel like
I feel the same way.
It felt like we were married to Logan Hall last year, right? For whatever reason, it felt like the week before the draft, we were just going to pick Logan Hall. The rumors started heating up. It said really it was really the UConn D lineman or Logan Hall a lot of the time. And I don't think his interest was too high, Logan Hall, because the Bucs obviously moved out of the first round for a reason, knowing they could probably get Logan in the second round because he was their guy. So a lot of people probably didn't see the intrigue in Logan Hall. I'll tell you this. I have his game-worn jersey hanging on my wall right now. I hope this man turns it around. I'm a Logan Hall guy. I've been disappointed what we've seen from him, but last game, hopefully a minor step in a direction that needs a lot of big steps. So we'll see if he can pull it together. I do think Cansey, Vita Vea going to be disgusting when those two are next to each other.
Pray they stay healthy.
And I will say this, Ben Johnson, Lions offensive coordinator, he's a dangerous guy, so you got to watch out for the Lions offense. I wouldn't be shocked if Ben Johnson is the next head coach of the Chicago Bears.
We just got to go sign Ndamukong Suh again.
You love you're still on the Sue train, Stunna. And while I have you here, Stunna, what are your thoughts for the Bucs bye week? You think they do make any moves? That's what the next question is. Do you think there will be any bye week buzz in Tampa?
I would love for them to go after Jonathan Taylor or get a running back in here, but we're not really that active during the season in the past, so we'll see.
Yeah, the couple of things I remember mid-season, most notable was signing Antonio Brown a couple of years back. I remember when that happened mid-season, I was like, what the hell? Did we really just sign the great AB? And then obviously we've seen how that turned out. But Katz, will go to you. Anything to look forward on the bye week? You think the Bucs make any moves? You think any news happens, or anything at all in Tampa? What are you looking out for during the week 5 early bye?
Yeah, I don't see them making any moves either. Now the deadline is not for a few. When is it? I don't know what week the trade deadline is. It's got to be later than week 5,
week
right?
7. I think week 7.
I think it might depend where they're sitting in week 7. I don't think they'll do anything now, but let's just say something happens or Rashad White gets hurt. No, don't want that to happen, and they feel the need to acquire a running back. Maybe they do that. But as of right now, I don't see them making any trade acquisitions at this time.
And Plus brings up a good point in saying Jameson Williams is going to be back. So I know a lot of people look at it like this. A lot of people were crying that Kamara was coming back. I actually don't mind Jameson Williams coming back for that game for the same reason I didn't mind Kamara coming back, because these guys haven't played football in a while now, right? Jameson Williams will be out 5 to 6 weeks. By the time he gets back, it's going to take him at least a half to 3 quarters to get back into football shape. So Lions offense that has been looking really good and nifty, and obviously Jameson Williams will pay dividends down the road, but it might take him a game or two to get back into football shape. Now, with that being said, could he torch us? Could he go off? Absolutely, sure. But when it's all said and done, you look around the league a lot of the time, and even weeks 1 and 2 in modern day football, you're seeing a lot of good veterans. And plus, thank you, Plus, October 31st is the trade deadline, so after week 8. I think it might have used to be week 7 when there were 16 games, but I think now it did get moved back to week 8. So thank you, Plus. Christopher Cole says we can't afford to sign anyone at the moment. Sure, you can. Would it be the wise thing to do? Maybe not. But we know with Mike Greenberg and Jason Light, if you really wanted to play cap sabermetrics, cap gymnastics, you can make it happen, and you could probably bring somebody in. Again, is it ideal? No. Would you have to kick more cap down the road? No. So, again, probably not going to be making any big
Jonathan Taylor.
Yep, we're not going to be making any big moves, that's for sure. Jason Light has admitted several times now we're going to be dollar store shopping. But, guys, before we get to our one big things and walk-offs here in a little bit, we're going to just have a creamsicle little round table and mention any of your favorite moments that you could remember when the Bucs were wearing their creamsicle uniforms. Could be modern day, could be old days, and I guess I'll start when Freeman was a rookie, as Plus alluded to earlier. hard when your rookie ends up tailing off and getting into some trouble like Freeman did a couple of years down the road. But when he was a rookie, the hype was there out of Kansas State. And I'll never forget the day we wore our creamsicles that day against the Green Bay Packers. I want to say we ended up getting a W in our creamsicle uniform.
Yeah, that was Coach Rawls' rookie year. I was at that game.
Yep, exactly. Stunna, you know it best. And, I know we've had a lot of great moments in the creamsicles from back in the day, but a little bit more of a modern moment. That's my favorite creamsicle moment when we upset the Packers, Josh Freeman's rookie year in the creamsicles. I couldn't believe it. A lot of people couldn't believe it. Pops from Twitter has a interesting, funny comment. Remember Peter King on the Peter King Sports Illustrated? He predicted us 31st at the beginning of the year. Now that coward, I'm gonna refrain. Never mind. I take back the coward. I'm not gonna call people names here, but now that clown, I should say. Again, I shouldn't say clown. I'm calling him names here.
Go ahead, call him that. I call people names all the time. Do it, Tones. Do it for
Peter
me.
King, that very, very nice guy. No, he's an asshole. And he predicted us 31st. And his reasoning was Tom Brady's gone. Tom Brady hindered us just as much as he helped us last year, Peter King. Tom Brady was going through a divorce. Tom Brady was going through crypto bankruptcies, which was obviously distracting him because we found out he lost $46 million. And I don't want to hear, oh, he has a lot of money. Who cares? $46 million freaking dollars. Going through a divorce. And your reasoning that the Bucs are going to suck this year is Tom Brady left? Are you rude? Are you stupid? Are you just dumb? Or are you a little bit of both? Because clearly
all the
you
above.
didn't do, option D, all of the above. Clearly you didn't do your homework and research a Bucs team. You just did what the rest of the national media did. You heard Tom Brady is on his way out, and you hopped off with Tom Brady like a real asshat. Well, guess what? Tom Brady's comebacks last year in the games we won because of Brady were against the likes of the Cardinals, the Saints, and a bunch of other bad teams that we came back on. So, yes, we obviously had a lot of fourth quarter wins. I want to say 3 or 4 last year because of Brady. But because of Brady, and I won't lie, it's not all his fault because Donovan Smith couldn't block a highway freight train. Brady was making business decisions, throwing a lot of footballs in the ground. Again, maybe not his fault because you had Donovan Smith and Byron Leftwich. And as Plus says, mind-boggling national media picking Falcons and Panthers to win the division. I just laughed. So that'll be my thing to watch during the bye week, how the national media changes their narrative on us. Not necessarily if we're going to add on to people, not necessarily if we're going to make any trades or whatnot. I think my thing to watch during the bye week is to see how the national media flips the script. And they've already started to do that with Peter King and Huncho. I'm going to be quite honest with you, Kat, Stunna, and anyone else listening. And then you could take off, Huncho, before I have a heart attack. I don't want these people on our side now. I don't want Peter King picking to win us the division. And quite frankly, I don't want his input. I don't even want to hear it. It's going in one ear, out the other. And, like Plus said, they already did start changing by the Lions' time changing. Hunch, take it away. I think it's hilarious that the media wrote us off just because Tom Brady was out of the building.
Just to tail off for what you said, man, I just feel like with the Brady situation, and as you can see with Baker and how he plays, like we know Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever. We already know he came here, he gave us a championship. Last year it wasn't the best version of Tom Brady. But the things that Baker Mayfield is doing, extending plays, the mobility, it's much needed when it breaks down, and it's you have a different team now that you have Baker making those plays, which Tom Brady couldn't do. And he's extending plays, moving around in the pocket, running for first downs, chunking the ball on the run. He's catching the touchdown by fucking tight end. Oh, shit, my mind just K. Ott and the touchdown to him, like just and his toughness, man. I respect Baker so much. I believe in him just like I believed in Tom Brady. Yes, Tom Brady gave you that for sure factor, like okay, with his aura and what he comes in, and his playoffs when you get Tom Brady. Baker Mayfield has that dog in him also, man. He has the fight, the resilience. He just doesn't give up on plays. He's galvanizing the team around him. And I respect the shit out of Baker and what he's doing. And he's proven all the pundits wrong that had us bottom of the league and 32nd this. And now we're getting flex for games. And I feel like the Lions game is just a very good test for us. We're similar on the same quest with the Lions and the Bucs. We're kind of right there. And I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I think it's going to be a good game. If we come out, we come out healthy, getting some key guys back. I seen Pless allude to keeping Zion out there. I wouldn't mind even doing that because how Dean's been playing this year, it's been shitty. But the thing about that is we know they played Dean a contract, so that's not happening. So, I mean, I just feel like they didn't have faith in us, but God did. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't care about the Taylor Swift shit that's going on. I don't care about none of that shit. I just want to see us go out there, and I want to see us beat the Lions' ass. And if we do that, you already know what's coming with that. All the national media is coming down here to interview Baker and act like they're going to be on this side, and Todd Bowles is this, and all. They're going to be on our side. But that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, and I think Ken and Plus are having some good banter. Best part of Sunday after that Jameis INT is that the Saints fans saying we still suck. Well, if we suck, what does that make them? And Plus says you should watch some Saints content and breakdowns are hilarious. Katz, what are your thoughts on Saints Twitter? We know they're a bunch of Looney Tunes living in a fantasy land. We know they're cartoon characters or Tasmanian devils out there. They're just fantasy fans. That's what I call them, fantasy fans. They don't live in reality. Saints fans honestly don't
they're entitled
football. They're not entitled because they don't have anything to be entitled
in
for.
their minds. They're delusional. They feel like they're entitled.
Yeah, they feel like they're entitled, but they have nothing to be entitled about. Their franchise is honestly pretty pathetic when you look at the history of the Saints. They haven't really done much.
As I pointed it out. Yeah.
Go ahead,
Pat. I pointed it out when Cam Jordan talked about, the Bucs are going to go back to what they were before Brady. It's like, yeah, but the Saints are going back to what they were before Breeze. They just had Breeze a lot longer than we had Brady. The Saints are right there. I know we have the worst winning percentage of all in sports, but I'm aware of that. And I wear that as something that I just say, you know what, that's cute for us. Whatever. Big freaking deal. We were lovable losers. So what? I grew up with this team. The Saints are number 3, I believe, in terms of worst in all of the NFL. So they're right there at the bottom. And also it took them from 1967 to the year 2000 to win their first playoff game. That's 33 years. I mean, 33 years to win one playoff game. We did that in our 4th year, for goodness sakes. Let me also, so I've always mentioned that. A lot of people don't realize it, and that's fine for young Saint fans that aren't assholes that, we're only there for Breeze. Hey, God bless them. They'll learn what it's like to be losers now. That's fine. But most, I think, the older Saint fans probably are a little more humble than that, I think, because they remember how bad it was. They had Jim Mora, who was hilarious, by the way. He was a very funny guy.
Playoffs?
Playoffs. He was funny. He was real. I've watched some Jim Mora stuff. That guy was real, and I respect him a lot because he kept it real. He even mentioned, though, a game where the Saints fans were cheering when their quarterback got his knee blown up. But he keeps it real 100%. Also, let me talk about my favorite creamsicle game. I can't name a game that was from before I was alive. So what I will say is my favorite, first of all, the one you mentioned, the Josh Freeman game, was great because Aaron Rodgers threw, I believe, 4 picks in that game. So basically the Bucs treated him like he was at a family reunion. And Tanar Jackson had a pick 6 to seal it. My favorite was in 1995. The Bucs were 6-7 at that point. They were trying to break their long streak of seasons where they lost 10 or more games. And on a Sunday night, Green Bay came in here. It was a very cold night. The Bucs won 13-10 in overtime. Michael Houston hit a game-winning field goal that brought the Bucs to 7-7. Unfortunately, they lost the final 2. They finished 7-9. Yeah, they finished 7-9. But that was still a very memorable night here in Tampa for them to get to 7-7, to beat the Packers, who ultimately ended up winning the Super Bowl that season. So that was my favorite. And the Bucs usually back in those days did not wear creamsicle during the day. They wore the white tops like they do now at home. And the only time they would break out creamsicle was usually for a night game. So that was particularly memorable for me if we're going back to creamsicle games. And yeah, I remember. Plus, I bought off eBay many years ago the game program from that 1977 game, 33-14. Before I was born, but I have it as a historian who spends too much time doing things that I shouldn't, that are meaningless. I do have the game program from that game.
Hey! When don't say meaningless. When we're sports heads, cats, that's what we strive for.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
it's meaningless to other people that are not, but for us, you're right. It's not meaningless. So yeah, heck yeah, I do have that game programs. If I could get someone from the $77 to sign it, that would be even more awesome. Maybe I'll get that done someday.
From that, wow, that would be awesome, man. I mean, that would be truly incredible if that could come about. And you never know, because a lot of the older Bucs and a lot of the veteran players are still in the Tampa area, and they do a lot of that sort of stuff for for low end nowadays. So, cats, it is funny though, because I get told the same stuff. Even about my jerseys. Oh, why do you collect? Why do you do this? It's awesome. It's awesome. And I do want to, Cats, while we have you talking here, Plus makes a funny point, not a funny point, but the Rays played like today's game was meaningless. They sure damn did. It was sad, and Cats and I talked about it, but I'll let Cats talk about it here a little more before we wrap up with Bucs talk. It was not ideal the way the Rays came out today, because now their backs are against the wall and they got to win 2 in a row. I'm not saying it's impossible. I think the Rays will still win the series. I don't know if it's a fan of me or what, but they put themselves in a dangerous position and their hands are tied behind their back, and really their backs are up against the wall. And as Plus said, they played today's game like it was meaningless.
Well, yeah, I mean, they looked, I was listening on radio at work. They said they look very tense right now. And, and that's not how the Rays normally play. That doesn't mean they always win when they don't play tense, but they're a very loose group. They have been incredibly resilient this year, just given the amount of injuries and other circumstances they've had. And it seems like they seem to, at times this year, relish having their backs against the wall. Rather they not. I'd rather they have won. But here we are, and like I said, I have a lot of faith in Zach Eflin, because he's a very calm, cooling presence out there on the mound. He's a phenomenal leader in the locker room. In fact, not only is that the case, I don't know if he's a Bucs fan or not, but he grew up a Rays fan, so I believe he did grow up a Bucs fan as well. Zach Eflin, that is. Great person, and I think he'll go out there and stabilize things, and that they'll come back and win tomorrow. That I do believe. But yeah, today was a very, very non-Rays-like performance. You're going to win and lose. You might lose, but you don't expect to lose playing so sloppy when you're a team that hallmarks yourself on playing clean defense. But again, I will say this, Plus, they are missing a lot of their better defenders. Guys, although Walls, I think, made an error too, which he's not supposed to do because he's really only there to play defense. But yeah, Siri's hand doesn't look near healed, and it's easy for me to say that in hindsight now, because I was saying, please come back, we miss you. He comes back and his hand looks like it's still bothering him. Can't have hindsight. It happened, He wanted to play, he pushed himself to come back from a broken hand in 3 weeks. He gets my respect for that no matter what, because if I had a broken hand, I'd be using that as a reason to do half-ass at work for months. And can't type with a broken hand.
For real, though. And Stunna, favorite creamsicle moment, brother? I don't think you shared yours yet.
Unfortunately, there ain't a lot, because back then we used to cry and beg and plead for an 8-8 season. I remember one time Vinny Testaverde took off against the Vikings, hit like a 55-yard touchdown run. I remember Vernon Turner's first punt return for a touchdown. And I also remember that 95 season that Kaz mentioned where we swept the Redskins. Man, that was definitely a point of contention. But I think back in those days, I remember Gary Anderson breaking off a long run against the Bears one time. But we made great plays, but we didn't really have a lot of great wins, unfortunately. But much of our success in the creamsicles come under Sam Weiss that I can remember. Growing up in the Ray Perkins era was not very, it was bad, man. And I remember one year we played the Colts. We traded our number one pick for Chris Chandler. So if we won, the Colts got the first and second pick, and if we lost, the Colts got the second and first pick.
Yeah,
that's a little bit of trivia right there.
I want to ask
Wow,
you.
that
Go ahead, Katz.
we did though trade. Craig Erickson was traded to Indy as part of the
we
deal that
traded Craig
ultimately
Erickson.
ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was not a bad quarterback. We traded him to Indy, and that became part of the deal that got us the pick where we drafted Derek Brooks. So eventually, that we did get one there. Well, understatement. So that one did work out. But I remember the one you mean
That was the
too.
Sam Weiss era. That was the Sam Weiss era, though. And I'm talking about the Ray Perkins era.
Oh, Ray Perkins. Okay, Ray Perkins was who people compared Chiano to. But the thing is Ray Perkins really was an asshole. Big time asshole.
Ray Perkins. You'd have to talk to Ian Beckles about the Ray Perkins era. Okay, Ray Perkins used to make our guys do 3-a-days at University of Tampa.
Yeah, he was a sick mother.
Yeah. He just wanted to lose. Our guys were so beat up, and back then they played 6 preseason games, and by the time they got into week 1, we had half a team. So he was an asshole, but we had like Eugene Moore. Yeah, we had Eugene or Harry Hamilton. I remember a lot of the guys back then with Keith McCants, of course. Keith McCants, one of the worst draft picks. Broderick Thomas. Still got my Broderick Thomas poster in my living room. Jerry Bell was a big fan of mine growing up, but he was more like the Leland Bennett era. But yeah, man, Sam Weiss really helped with the creamsicles. He brought out the creamsicle pants, and he did a lot to change the creamsicles. So I definitely appreciate Sam Weiss.
Stunner, real
I do
quick.
too. He's not popular. May rest in peace, by the way. He did pass, sadly.
He was a great coach. He took Cincinnati to the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know how people don't like him. I think one of my other favorite memories was in 1988 when we beat the Buffalo Bills. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, Stunner, since and Plus says he'll be at the Rays game on tomorrow, actually. So
I will be there too.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't go to no Rays games.
Stunner, we need you at the Rays game tomorrow. You'll bring him luck.
Well,
that's the 6th inning stretch if I go. By the 6th inning, they're kicking me out.
Now, the games are shorter now. Plus, I'll be there as well. Hopefully, we bring home a win. Yeah, I'll be there too. So who knows? It's my fault that they lost because I didn't go today. No. I'll be there tomorrow as well. So hopefully we hopefully we get a win and even this thing up.
Yeah, Cats. If last time me, Stunner, and Huncho went to the game during COVID, actually.
He was a wild boy.
I brought Huncho to his first baseball game, and Stunner got quieted down by security. They kept trying to tell him, "Hey, quiet down, quiet down." It's like, bro, we're rooting our team on. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
it was so quiet in there, and all you heard was Stunner. That's it. You just heard Stunner just talking shit to everybody.
Yeah, we're limited then, more so. I think to like 3,000. And here's the thing: there are some security guards there that I know this for a fact are actually, sadly, but this won't surprise you, are actually Red Sox and Yankee fans. So, yeah, I don't have to say anymore.
Huncho, have you said your favorite creamsicle moment? Are you the last one standing on that?
I believe it was Mike Williams. I want to say he did. I think he had a score or something, if my memory serves me right. I just like when they came back with the creamsicles in general, and they were playing in them. That was my favorite moment because they took them away for a while. But I like when they brought them back and they added the new little touches on, man. I remember Levante. He was the dog, and even it was just great. I like seeing all the players in those creamsicle days when they brought them back. That was my favorite moment.
Levante and William Golston are the only 2 Bucs that have worn the creamsicles before. I believe it's Levante and William Golston have been the only 2 Bucs to wear one. Evans came just after that. Honestly, Will Golston has been around for so long now. It's pretty incredible how long we've had a guy like Will Golston for. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe Levante. It's either Will and Levante or just Levante. But either way, the Creamsicles have been gone since 2012 or 2013 now. So it's been a decade plus since we've seen them. And before we move on to our last segment, I do want to ask Stunna one thing since he's a season ticket holder and he's used to going to Ray J. Stunna, you think they're going to do anything different? Did they make it known to you guys that day that Raymond James might look a little different? Or as far as you know, is it going to be the same thing?
Yeah, they will. The cheerleaders will wear the throwbacks. The bowl will be orange, and they'll take a lot of the old like Buccaneer stuff in the end zone, and they'll make it orange going around the stadium. It'll look a little different.
So it'll look like a creamsicle Ray J pretty much.
Captain Fear usually comes out in the Bucko Bruce outfit also.
I did
The old
see
the old Huddlers outfit, if you remember Huddlers.
Yup, and for all you
Huddle,
going
the old man.
and for all of you going to the game, I think Kat said he was going, and Stunna, you said you're going. I think that they are giving out creamsicle bucket hats to everyone in attendance as well, fellas. So that'll be cool.
That I believe they did that in 2010 for the creamsicle game, and it actually was an exact replica of the one that our original coach John McKay wore. It was a white one that said Bucs on it. I think this one's slightly different, but it is kind of an homage as well because it's all an orange bucket hat. He's the only coach that we ever had that wore a bucket hat. That I know. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It should be. It's always a lot of pomp and circumstance. Whether you win or lose, they do a really good job at that game when they do the throwback.
And there's
So
plus having our back right there saying it. I knew it was either 12 or 13, and then when I replayed it, I thought, yeah, 2012 sounded more right. Golston didn't get here till 13. So, yes, it was just Levante wearing the creamsicle. But nonetheless, it is crazy how long William Golston was here and hasn't worn the creamsicle, right? I mean, it was an essential uniform for us. And now it's crazy because now we have the pewter and the creamsicle and the white and the red. I don't think we need 4. If I was the Bucs, and I don't hate the pewter, but I would have done a throwback white creamsicle and the orange creamsicle, do 1 and 1, and then I would have done the normal white and the red. I feel like it's just so much crap now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind the pewter, but just so many uniforms out nowadays. As Plus said, 2012.
We got to wear the creamsicles to Atlanta because whenever we go there, you can never tell who our fans are and who their fans are whenever we're at Atlanta.
Yeah, because they're all the same looking jerseys in terms of color, right?
Yeah, you know, and remember the Bills game when they all wore their Bills red jerseys in our stadium and they kind of blended in with our fans. It's just, you know, our color scheme in Atlanta is the same, so we got to definitely wear our creamsicles whenever we play them.
Yeah, and I agree.
Plus, I remember that game, by the way. 35-28. Mike Williams called what looked like a game-tying touchdown at the end, and they said that he was out of bounds first, even though he was pushed out. That was apparently within the rules. Also, V-Jax, both of them, rest in peace, had a 99-yard catch in that game, got tackled at the 1, and the Bucs ran the ball 3 times and didn't get in the end zone. But one of the more memorable, I think the longest catch for sure in Bucs history, that did not go for a touchdown, which is an incredible stat.
Yeah, and for those baseball fans watching, Brewers struck first, and they are up 1-0, and it seems like the Twins have just shut the door on the Blue Jays. So baseball is in full force. Football's in full force, although we are on our bye week, as Plus said Lions fans will be there. Ken, in my section, we already have open. Oh, yeah, Lions fans will be in full force. Lions fans are going to be a big part of Ray J that day, sadly. As Ken said, though, I just hope this doesn't become a Lions home game. Keep your tickets. It's going to be ugly. Just looking at the ticket prices. If you guys want to know how many away fans will ever be at a game, just look at the ticket prices, and then the prices will be double. Like when you look at the Falcons game, they're about half of what the Eagles and Lions game were, and so forth. As Pletch said, 99-yard catch, then ran it 4 times and got nothing.
Yep.
Man, I remember that like crazy. That was terrible. And then Plus brought up Sammy Strouder's catch earlier. I remembered that greatly as well. Gentlemen, I have kept you guys a while now. We're not done yet, but we are going to start wrapping it up here with our one big things and walk-offs for the bye week. We're going to be back maybe Thursday with the quickie. I am gone all weekend. On Friday, I'll be at U of I Nebraska football game. Saturday, I'll be in downtown Indy for a wrestling pay-per-view. And then Sunday, I'll actually be scouting the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts as we are playing both the Titans and Colts this season. So I'm going to be in attendance for Titans Colts, watching these teams first and foremost, and see what they bring to the table. So, Katz, we'll start with you here. Heading into the bye week, what's your one big thing to look out for this Bucs team?
Very simply, during the bye week is get healthy. Yeah, get healthy. That's the most important thing. You got an early bye, which you normally don't like, but because we're dinged up, get everybody healthy and ready for a very tough opponent coming in here, and the rest of the season, of course.
I love that. And Pops says, as he's tuned in, he says Winfield is his MVP so far this year. That's his one big thing. He has been incredible. He looks like a hybrid of Rondé Barber and Antoine Winfield Sr. out there. He just has looked incredible. So I'll give my one big thing is, as you said, Katz, get healthy. My thing is, don't add any other injuries, right? And I know that, it could be personal lives. It could still be training, but it's a bye week. Can't overlook it. We don't need to add any more injuries. So my one big thing is bubble wrap everybody, stay healthy. Plus says give Winfield an extension. I couldn't agree more. We're going to have to play cap space charcuterie next year as we have a lot of free agents, as Winfield's in line for free agency. Evans is in line for free agency. Devin White's going to be in line for free agency. Obviously, Levante will be a free agent again. And then Worst right around the corner. Baker will be a free agent. Going to be crazy next year. We got to get some of these guys extended. So I think that would be great, extending Winfield. Huncho, if you're still with us, brother, what's your one big thing heading into the bye week?
First off, I want to say happy birthday, Mama A.
Hey, Mama A's birthday. If any of you didn't know, it is Mama A's birthday. We talked about it briefly, but she's a fan of the Buccaneers and the Buccaneers. So thanks for that, Huncho. I appreciate you, sir.
Yes, sir. And yeah, pretty much like everybody's saying, my other thing is for everybody to get healthy. Hopefully we can get some key guys back and just bolster up this defense, and hopefully Mike can come back at least 90%, or he'll be able to play that Lions game, and we actually make it out that game unscathed. I really pray that we can make it out and everybody stays healthy. I mean, I know it's a long shot, but I just pray that everybody can stay healthy that game, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
And as Plus said, maybe make some adjustments during the bye, get the tendencies going into the
Most
Lions game, get some running game going, so consistently at least find a backup running game. A lot to build on, as we said earlier.
A week and a half to prepare for the Lions, so hey.
And Stunna, your one big thing heading into the bye, brother?
I would love for us to re-sign Mike Evans. I know it's not going to happen. I think, he basically had a whole drive against Philly where he got a big plays and scored a touchdown. And he's the franchise man. And, those of us that remember the years before Evans and the years after, we got to keep this guy around. Learn from our mistakes, man. We let John Lynch be in the Hall of Fame, bringing the honor the Broncos because we let him go. That was stupid. We should have re-signed Sapp. I mean, I still don't understand that one. Learn from the mistakes. Get this guy under contract. Don't let him go. Franchise him at least. I mean, he is the franchise. And then Wirfs and Winfield got to be the other two you re-sign this offseason. Win the bye week with having no injuries. And I would love for us to bring some running backs in and maybe try, because we talked about, the problems we had with running backs and drafting, but we did get Leonard Fournette out of the, the free agent market. And I think that's what we need to do with running backs from here on out. So, yeah. My big thing is re-sign Evans at some point. I don't care if it's now or in the offseason, but don't let that guy leave the building. I
agree, and I couldn't agree more. I think that, we need to add to the run room, or we need to just get White more involved and hope Edmonds bounces back healthy. Last word time, fellas. Cats, will start with you. Last word for the podcast here. Rays, Bucks, what is it, brother?
Oh, good focus on the Bucs as they won their last game. So again, very proud of the Bucs, what they're doing, and can't wait for the next game. That's all I can say at this point.
Hunch, last words. I agree with you, Cats. I can't wait for the next game as well.
Appreciate everybody tuning in and everybody's giving their opinions, man. I love the feedback and everything. So I'd like say thank everybody for tuning in, and go Bucs. Stay blessed, and everybody.
Yeah, before we get to Stunner's last word, I'll go ahead and give mine quick. We did have some technical difficulties in the beginning, so thanks for staying with us, Huncho, and thanks for staying with us, everybody. It's been incredible. We had the Godfather in the house, Kenny B in the house, Plus in the house, Olivia in the house. It's just really great group of characters, JCL and Randy from Facebook, Christopher Cole. I could go on and on and on all day with the giant laundry list, but everybody's been impeccable in the chat this evening. It's always a pleasure to get this type of chat room going. It's a true honor. Stunna, last word, buddy. It's been awesome having all four of you. It's been a while since the four of us have sat down and diced up Bucs football.
We the Buccaneers, we family, we love our team, and we represent always. Go out there to work this week, enjoy the victory week, and just remember that, what we've been through in the past and what it's going to take to get back here in the future. Like I said, we talked about Baker. I was beating the drum for him all season. I think he definitely earned the right to come back again next year. Go Bucs. Let's make it happen. Get geared up. Represent. In the city. Anytime you can wear the gear, anytime you see someone wearing something foul, make sure to tell them that they need to hit the road and walk the plank.
I got a Robert Hainsey shirt on right now. Don't ask me why, but that's how deep my fandom is.
We that.
Robert Hainsey shirt that represents my Bucs fandom. We that from Hunch. Cats, it's been incredible, buddy. Let's get a Rays W tomorrow.
Amen to that. I'll be there cheering them on. Hopefully we get it. We will get it.
Hopefully you can see Plus there and you two get us a win. And Stunna, you stay safe out there coaching, buddy. We appreciate you dropping by with your busy schedule.
Yeah, I'm out here in Pinellas. Tough year, man, but it's the process, and it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of hard work and effort and years of patience, honestly. But we're going to get it done, man, because these young kids deserve it, and we got to demonstration of football stars. Teach these young guys to love, appreciate, and eventually flourish in the game of football. The Bucs life, about being a Bucs fan ain't for everybody. I have thick skin and a hard head. Go Bucs, party.
As Stunna said, go Bucs, fire the cannons. It's critical keeping the youth involved in football. So we thank Stunna for his great coaching out there. It's really incredible. I want to thank Cats for coming in after a Rays loss. I know that's not the easiest thing to do. That's for damn sure. It's always tough after a loss. So thank you for that, Cat. And Huncho for battling through the technical difficulties. Bucko the Brute sends you guys his best wishes as well. Plus says, great show. See you guys for Atlanta game. I can't wait for that, Doctor. Hopefully we got those Friday plans in the bag and a lot more that weekend. So that's going to be incredible. And the Buccaneers are just blessed to have you guys. And I'm blessed to have Stunna, Cats, Huncho, and Bucko as well. Just all awesome, beautiful people. On behalf of Cats, on behalf of Stunna, on behalf of Huncho, and on behalf of Bucko, Blue Jays ship the bed good. Fuck them. No, I'm kidding. You like who you like. I'm sorry, Steppin' Peppin. My Cubs are out of it and my Rays lost, so not a good look for me either. But Cats, tomorrow's a brighter day. Let's get the dub, buddy.
Amen, man. Thanks, Tones.
See ya, everybody. Have a great night. Stunna, love you. Cats, love you. Huncho, love you. Peace out. Fire the damn cannons. Go, Bucs. Let's go. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Bucs win. Beat the Lions. Creamsicle game. Gene Deckeroff. Oh, my God. Fire the damn cannons. Bucs win. Bucs win. Bucs win. See you guys next time.
Gotta cut it. You're still
game on
live.
Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was just ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Bucs fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.